What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 31 Days of Horror. I am your host, Moon616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yeah, day 13 is here, and I've got a relatively newer film for y'all. This is from 2013. It's a film from out of the UK, and it's one that I've been wanting to get my hands on for so long. Could never find a copy of it because I believe this release was very limited or something like that. I can't remember the whole story with this, but it was very hard to get my hands on. But fortunately enough, I have really awesome fans out there, and my man Matt Marielli, the lead singer of Borealis, he actually had a copy of this. Out of the blue one day, he just messages me and says, "Hey man, do you want this film?" And I said, "Shit dude, if you're willing to send it to me, yeah, giddy up man, I'll take it." So that's what happened. He sent this over for him, and I told him eventually one day I will do a review for it. And that's what's happening right now. So of course in 2013 we have a film called Lord of Tears, and you might notice that this is not in your normal Blu-ray type case. It's actually in like a CD type digipack type thing. Pretty cool stuff, man. Actually, this comes with the soundtrack also. You can see in there, there's a soundtrack, and of course it is a Blu-ray, so which is totally amazing because it looks awesome. So, but Lord of Tears from 2013 out of the UK. The synopsis of this one basically follows your main character. His name is James. He's a school teacher, and ever since he was a child, he's had these really bad nightmares and these very strange visions, and he's never been able to figure out why he's been having these nightmares and these visions, never been able to pinpoint, you know, the direct cause of it. So one day he receives a letter that his mother has passed away. So he decides that, you know, he's had enough of these nightmares and all these visions. He wants to put them to rest. So he decides he's going to head back to his hometown, this little small village, and you know, go back to his home where he grew up in, and maybe, you know, and kind of do some research and, you know, poke around and stuff. Maybe can find the direct you know, cause of these nightmares and visions that he's been having. So that's what he does. He goes there and he meets this girl named Eva, and she kind of helps him on his journey to figure out his past. So that right there is the premise of the film. Now my thoughts on this one. Now, if I were to sum up this film in a little bit of a nutshell, if you were to take a Hammer film and a J-horror ghost story, this is what you got. You got Lord of Tears. Now that might not sound overly too appealing to some people if you're not a fan of horror or Hammer films or not a fan of Japanese ghost stories, but this one right here is, wow, such an amazing, beautiful, elegant film. I have to say, man, this one right here is one of the most atmospheric, you know, eerie, gothic looking films I've seen in such a long time. The cinematography is just outrageously good in this. I love the locations they shot in. This big ass house is kind of like I guess it's now like a hotel inn for people. They can go and stay there. It's like this big huge mansion type deal, but it's just so sophisticated and so awesome looking. But man, the atmosphere is so damn good in this film, and the cinematography is just amazing. The other element to this film that really kind of makes it stick out is the soundtrack. The music in this film is just outrageously good. It's so elegant, and it just fits perfect in every scene. You know, this movie right here is, of course, a slow burn type film. The story is, in my opinion, it's almost perfectly executed, because throughout the story you're learning, you know, the writing, it kind of gives you like little nuggets of information perfectly in place in this film until the reveal happens in the end. I think it's very well executed in style and story, because, you know, there's a lot of things going on here. You know, of course, James is trying to figure out his past and stuff, but you've got this owl character, and, you know, throughout the film it kind of gives you, you know, information about the legend and the mythology of this owl man, and but the owl man's still very mysterious. It's not giving a whole lot away about the owl man. You know, like at first you're like, okay, what is the owl man? Is he a villain? Is he someone that's trying to guide James? Like it's really kind of throwing you off into left field. You don't really know what's going on, and that's why I think the writing in this film is really good. It gives like all these little nuggets until the reveal, and even then the story just keeps elevating itself even from there. So very, very slow burn. Like I said, if you're into, you know, slow burn type films, this is probably one of the better ones right here. As for like the Japanese aspect of it, yeah, you know, once he kind of encounters a certain entity, and what I mean by that is, you know, the look and style of those scenes is very much derived from Japanese ghost stories and stuff. Have you seen Ju-on and things like that? Especially like more specifically, what I'm talking about is the editing during these type of scenes. You know, in those J-horror films when you see an entity or a ghost or whatever, and it just kind of, the editing is very choppy and stuff, and it's very quick and stuff, and it's supposed to, you know, kind of make you scared like that. Well, that happens a little bit in this, but I have to say the entity, the look of it just looks so damn good. It looks really, really creepy, like major creepy. Cinematography of the whole film is just ridiculous, and all these type of scenes, it really adds to it, like the colors, the way it kind of goes to black and white and black and silver, and just the way, you know, there's certain scenes with how blood just kind of pops out. And that's another thing about this film, there's really no blood and gore in the film. There's certain scenes, but it's very memorable because it's not packed full of that type of elements to make up this horror film. It's a slow burn ghost story that that just doesn't need all the blood and gore to kind of accentuate what it's trying to do. Yeah, I mean, this is, honestly, you don't see a lot of independent productions that look as good as this. I was fucking blown away while watching this film going, damn, like, this was an independent film. Like, they did such a good job with it. You know, it still definitely shows that it's a very low budget film at times. You know, not in the acting, though. The acting is really, really good. And with that said, there's only maybe 3 or 4 characters in this entire film, which adds to the element of eeriness to this film. There's, like, nobody around. It's like James and Eva, and, you know, it's really about it. And it's just, it's strange. There's, like, no one around, and you're like, what the fuck? It's just, it's very, very eerie. This is perfect for a late night watch. Like I said, if you're a fan of Hammer films, you're gonna fucking love this movie. It's really, really good. So once the reveal happens in this film, you know, like, it just kind of keeps going. And when the ending happens, I'm like, damn, I didn't see that shit coming at all. That's really fucking cool, man. I love watching movies like this where there's no predictability about it. Maybe a little bit in the beginning, I was kind of figuring out things, but as the film progressed, I was like, oh, damn, and then I was like, oh, damn, again. That is just such a big hit for me when I really don't see shit coming like that. And, right down to the end, the director never loses focus on what he was trying to do with technique and shots and music and atmosphere. It's eerie right down to the very last shot, which you just don't see a lot in these films. And, you know, for a film that's just over 100 minutes, it's really kind of hard nowadays to capture everyone's attention for that long. Like my homeboy JP always says, you know, the first 90 minutes of a film are free. You got to work for every minute after that. And I think this one really did. You know, it worked very hard, and it gives you a really good payoff. I mean, it might be a little bit long. I mean, you probably could cut down a couple scenes. Like, we always talk about editing film in films where you could probably kind of jar down some things. But, you know, with this one right here, it didn't really matter to me. I was so enthralled in the story, and the writing was so good. And visually was just, it was like embodying I was just loving this movie so much. Yeah, I have to say, man, overall, such a fantastic film. I love the fact that they didn't overuse the Owlman image in this film. That it's there, here and there, and it really does add to the story a whole lot. But one of the most interesting things about the Owlman character is that there's voiceovers. You actually get to hear the Owlman talk, and what he says is like, it's just like, it's very, you know, kind of mind-blowing lines and things like that. What he's saying is, you're just like, oh, that's so sophisticated, you know, but it's very meaningful. It actually does have meaning to what he's saying. If you really look at it, I watched this film with the subtitles on, so I actually didn't miss any of the dialogue. A lot of these type of films I do like to watch with the subtitles on. So yeah, I was like, the lines are great, and you know, it really did fit in with the mythology and the legend of what the story was. Everything came together very, very nicely. So, but yeah, Lord of Tears in 2013, I couldn't highly recommend this movie enough. Like, there's really not a lot wrong with this. I think, you know, the Japanese J-horror stuff, you know, was probably like my least favorite parts of the film, even though I really did dig it. I'm a big fan of Japanese films, and but, you know, I think it might be a little jarring for an American crowd, or even like a British crowd too. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, you know, I did think it worked though, so you know, I can't really bash it too much. But overall, pretty much an excellent independent film. Everyone needs to see this. Do yourself a favor, try to find a copy of this, man. I'm really kind of kicking myself now that I didn't try to find this, even, you know, right when it first came out, or try to get it, you know, even harder than I tried. But, you know, it is what it is. But Lord of Tears, I'm going to give this one 9.5 out of 10. It is one of the best indie films I have seen in such a long time. Thank you, Matt, for sending this over. This was an experience I'll never forget, because I'm definitely going to be watching this film again sometime soon. Absolutely loved it. I thought it was really, really tantalizing and excellent. You know me, I'm such a huge fan of slow burn atmospheric films when they're done right, and this is probably one of the best ones I've seen in such a long time. So, Lord of Tears, check it out. Absolutely loved it with every ounce. And that's going to do it here for day 13, guys. I will check you tomorrow with another film, of course. It's day 14. And as usual, peace!